Just over a year ago, I bought a failing business. Revenue was low, the conversion rate was terrible, and there was barely any stock left. Fast forward just over 12 months, more than doubled the revenue, massively increased profitability, and I've just signed 2 really big contracts that I'm really excited about. In this video, I'll break down exactly what I did, what worked, what hasn't, and what I'm focused on in the future. So why did I buy a struggling business? After running Solace Jewelry for 10 years and I was in the process of exiting that business, I wanted something that I was really passionate about this time, because to be honest, I didn't have a passion about jewelry. It was just a problem that I found a solution to and then scaled the business off the back of that. It was really enjoyable to scale the business and build a team and learn along the way. But this time I wanted something that I was actually passionate about. And Attacus Cycling was a brand that I'd followed for years. I loved the product. I used it. It was a much cheaper alternative to the big brands that are out there, but it still felt luxury and felt like a really cool brand, and it was different. But yeah, the business owners had put out a blog saying that they were struggling to run the business. It was taking up a lot of their time and they were really scaling it back and just going to focus on the custom kit. So I was gutted, to be honest, and reached out to them to see if they would be interested in selling the business. We went back and forwards for a while, and I think after maybe a year, I actually got the keys to the business, as you say, and yeah, started to try to turn around. So what was wrong with it? Like I said, they'd essentially been running the business down. So there was no marketing activity happening. There was no stock other than essentially the stuff that they were trying to clear through. They hadn't done any new launches in a while. So the customers that I guess were engaged with the brand hadn't seen the business for a while. Maybe they'd forgotten about it. Maybe they'd bought other brands, and it's not something that you buy like every month. So yeah, that re-engagement piece of past customers was going to be a challenge. Building the stock up was going to be a really big challenge, especially like funding wise. This was all self-funded, so if I got it wrong, it could have massive consequences for the things that I can do in the future. So what was the game plan? Obviously, first and foremost, we needed stock to sell. So reached out to the manufacturers, and it was a massive learning curve. I've never done cycling kit before or any apparel brand before. So I really needed to understand the fabrics, the technicality of the product, because it's not just a t-shirt. This needs to be really sweat wicking. It needs to fit comfortably, especially the brand values is comfort for endurance athletes. So it needs to be something that's going to be comfortable to wear for multiple hours under stress. Yeah, really needed to understand the fabrics, how the patterns went together. I went through all of the customer service tickets and the reviews to essentially find anything that I can improve for the product and understand where I needed to take the brand in the future. But yeah, having never done it before, like I say, it was a massive learning curve. I got overexcited, to be totally honest. I bought too much stock, but I'll go into that later and what we're going to do about that going forward. But the other thing was essentially the margin. So in jewelry, really high margin. The average order values were fairly low in jewelry, but in Attacus, the average order value is a lot higher, but the margin's a lot smaller. But like I said, people don't buy cycling clothing all of the time, so the customer acquisition cost is higher. So lower margin, higher customer acquisition cost. It was going to be a real challenge and is going to be a real challenge to get new customers in the door. So yeah, we've got to be smart about our marketing activity. And like I said, all self-funding. The business hadn't been doing great, so there's not a huge amount of money to play with for marketing. There's the other problem of obviously picking and packing the orders. You can see I'm in the office now. I think, to be honest, I'd just forgotten how much effort it takes to get a business off the ground, and when it's just you in the business, of how much there is that goes into it. So yeah, there's the challenge of managing my time to really grow the business and work on the business whilst also packing the orders, doing everything myself. So yeah, lots to do and lots to unpack. But yeah, let's get into what I've done in the last year to improve things. So the first problem, average order value. Like I said, they were selling products that were essentially clearance. So the average order value was around £64. And with the product cost, that's not anywhere near enough to run a marketing campaign. So the first thing was obviously getting stock, putting it back up to full RRP, and we actually added a little bit more because there hadn't been any price rises in years and the product cost had risen. So yeah, increase the products. I think that's something that I was really scared to do in my other business for a long time. And every time I've done it, I don't think I've had a single person complain about a price increase. So if you have a business where you haven't increased prices in a long time, I would say test it. You're probably not going to get as much backlash as you think. The second thing was bundling products. Obviously, somebody's on your site ready to purchase. That's the prime time to try and get them to buy more. And that's one of the easiest ways by far to increase your profit. We focused on trying to get people to buy a pair of bib shorts and a jersey, or a jersey and a jacket, rather than just buying like one item. I've been running multiple bundles throughout the year trying to get people to buy a jersey and a pair of bibs with 15% off, buying like a vest, a jersey, bibs and socks, and you get 20% off. And it worked pretty well. I think the offer still needs to be tweaked, but it was definitely a good start of getting the average order value up. I also ran post-purchase upsells. I focused on accessories with high margin that we could discount a little bit heavier, so the customer thinks that they're getting a really good deal. But actually, every single one of those drove £5 more profit per order, which does have a massive impact in the long run of how much profit your store can make. So yeah, the key things here were improving your average order value, bundling products, upselling at the cart page, and at your pricing strategy and offer. The second thing I did was look at the conversion rate. Definitely still a lot of work to do here, but the first thing I focused on was simplifying the navigation, using terminology that the customers are expecting, really stripping the nav bar back so that you can find whatever you want in 2 to 3 clicks, and yeah, making it really easy for the customers to find what they want. The second thing was updating the product pages. Your product images are a huge area of opportunity, and I think most brands don't make the most of it. You really want to focus showing that transformation and the social proof, but also getting the key benefits in the product images, because a lot of people flick through those images. So if you've just got pictures of the product, you're missing a real trick. You can get things like size guides in there, returns policy, social proof in the form of reviews, and it feels native. They're already flicking through those images, and a lot of people don't like to go through huge blocks of text. So they're already looking through those images, and you can pick out key things that they want to see that's going to remove the barriers essentially and get them hitting that add to cart quicker. Another thing was social proof. I actually made a massive error when I was porting over the reviews from Shopify Reviews, which I think was being sunsetted to Judge Me, which is an app I've used before, and I somehow lost all of the reviews. Don't know how I did it. Total rookie mistake. And yeah, it was real panic. I tried everything to get them back, but yeah, didn't work. So I emailed all the customers, explained what had happened, just totally honest about it, and gave everyone who would leave a review a £10 gift card. We built the reviews up again quite quickly. Thankfully, a lot of people took us up because they love the brand and they love the product. So yeah, got the reviews up. Still, I don't think up to where we were before, but yeah, you live and you learn, and won't do that again. So I really need to focus on getting reviews from every single person that I can. I've built an email flow out that asks for a review at the right time. I did a video on how to get more reviews, so I'll link that in the description and you can follow my advice on how to do that. One of the biggest things I wanted to do to improve conversion rate was remove the barrier of sizing. Now, for some reason in sportswear, particularly in cycling clothing, you can buy from 2 different brands and the size will be completely different. And it's a real barrier for people. So basically what I've done is added a 100-day guarantee. Not only can you try it on and then return it for free, but you can actually wear the kit for 100 days. And if it's not the most comfortable kit you've ever worn, you can return it. Now, I don't think any other cycling brand is doing this. So it should give the customers more confidence in us that we actually stand behind our product. And we really do focus on that comfort element and producing a product that's really premium, which I hope will really reduce that purchase hesitation. Now, like I say, there's still a huge opportunity here in the conversion rate. I think it's improved by about 50%, but it's nowhere near where I want it to be. I think a lot of it is stock issues. We haven't been able to keep the stock that people are really wanting to buy in stock. It just flies off the shelf, which is great. But then obviously when people are hitting the website wanting to buy something and then we don't have it in their size, then they're just going to bounce straight off the website. So definitely need to do more work on stock levels, but also understanding the customer and where they're getting stuck in that purchase journey. The third thing, obviously attracting new customers. Now, I've already mentioned that running ads is going to be really difficult with the margin that we currently have. So what did I do? I did actually run an ads campaign, but it was more focused around testing different messaging. I focused on a few things. So comfort, sizing, price, and like the small business angle. None of the campaigns were actually profit generating, but the campaign around sizing had a much better click-through rate. Like I mentioned for the conversion rate, I think people are really hesitant to buy clothing because they don't know if it's going to fit. So I think that is definitely the angle I need to go down and remove those barriers and make it really easy for people to trust that when they buy this piece of clothing, it's actually going to fit them. So yeah, that's a key focus for 2025, is something that I need to do some thinking around of what the best ways to do that are, and hopefully I can fix the problem. I mentioned that stock levels were a real problem, so I didn't want to hold loads of stock up, something I was really nervous about. So I didn't order huge quantities of any sizes, and the data going back years, I used that as a guide, but it was still really hard to tell because it was all over the place. So a lot of the things in like the medium and large sold out really quickly. Things that were in odd sizes we've still got maybe stock of. So yeah, people coming to the website as a new customer, you do all that marketing activity to get people to the website and then they can't buy. That's going to have a real impact. So definitely something to take away into this year is getting those stock levels right, moving to a different model of having a lot more of the core stock of colorways that I know are going to sell. Atticus had quite a good social media following, so we've been leaning into that and doing regular posts and stories. But as I know from my previous brand, like I don't think organic social is really where you can scale a brand. It really needs to come from ads. So yeah, we really need to find other ways to reach the customers. And I think in the past, community was such a big part of Atticus' story. So we didn't do this last year, but this year we're doing community rides throughout the UK. We've currently got 3 running a month and a Zwift series, which is an online cycling platform essentially. So yeah, to really try and get people to engage with the brand, come along. The ambassadors and the ride leads will be in the Attacus kit so they can see it. We're giving away something free at the end with a discount code. Also want to run more community events, get people involved in the decision making of what kit to bring out in the future. But that all takes a lot of time. And whilst trying to run multiple businesses, like it's really hard to be like responsive. So I need to find a way to do that in a really genuine and scalable way. But I think, to be honest, it's one of the main ways a sports brand can grow now when ads are becoming like quite tough to run. But like the key thing with marketing is just testing your messaging, testing different channels. Don't say that any one thing isn't going to work or necessarily rely on one thing. I mentioned that we signed 2 really big contracts. So one is with Cade Media, which essentially is Francis Cade, who built up a really good YouTube following, is turning into more of a cycling and sports media company. They'll be wearing the kit, promoting it, and he's got a really good viewership. So that's going to have a good impact for Atticus. The second contract is for the Garment, another big brand wearing their watch right now, use their cycling computers. They do a event every year with about 1,000 riders. We've actually won the contract to supply their custom jerseys. So that'll be, again, another opportunity. 1,000 people are going to be wearing the Atticus jersey. They're going to feel how good the quality is. We're not skimping because it's a custom jersey. A lot of companies do. It's the same jersey that you'd buy on the website. Yeah, like I said, 1,000 people are going to be wearing that. They're going to realize how good it feels. So yeah, that'll be a really good brand engagement piece, and hopefully we get sales off the back of that. But I think the main aim is also to get like more custom work, because I think that is really good for cash flow and can be quite profitable. So for 2025, more employee-led content, more community building. I'm running a spring-summer launch party, which is, I've never run an event before, so it'll be really interesting. But essentially showcase the product. We've got a guest appearance. We've got free pizza and beer. We've got journalists coming. We've got some ambassadors coming to do a talk for us. So yeah, it should be a really cool event, and hopefully people will see the product, love it, and then that'll be a good way to launch this season's collection. And I'm also looking at things like magazine placements and essentially wherever I can get eyeballs on the brand and build the brand, looking at different ways than just running ad campaigns all of the time. I think one of the key things that brands don't focus on enough are the customers that they've already got, like providing an amazing experience when they receive the product, making sure the product is actually really good quality, and then following up with value is something that's really easy to do, but a lot of businesses don't do it. So email marketing was a really good driver for my previous business. I think it generated about 40% of the revenue. Really want to take that into this new business. I don't want to go from sending no emails to like 3 a week. So in a minute, it's just 1 a week. Really focus on value and like things that I would want to read, receive. Obviously, there's a little bit of selling in there as well. And the email campaigns have gone pretty well. But as with everything, like it's really hard to do and do everything else. So I've just found a marketing company that I've used in the past. They're going to run the email campaigns for me. And again, main focus is on good quality content, building the community, and selling built in. And the selling, I think, will come naturally from that. Also doing new product launches, so bringing things that the brand didn't have before. Obviously, if we just focus on 2 products, then people don't buy that all the time. So you've introduced a new waterproof that went really well, insulated gilet that, again, really proud of that product and sold well. So focused on different accessories, different products that you can bring to market that customers that love the brand but maybe already have enough like tops and shorts can buy and build their range up. So yeah, I think the key to retention is just great products, following up with the customers, keeping them engaged, giving them value, and then when you do ask them for something in return, which is essentially buying something from you, like they're more likely to do it. If you just never email them and then every couple of months just say, we've got this offer, buy from us, like A, they're probably going to see the email, because I don't know what your inbox is, but I get spammed all of the time. So they might miss the email. But B, if you haven't spoken to them and then just buy from me, like that just doesn't feel great from a brand. So yeah, focus on providing value over the long term. And I think that's a good retention strategy. So the main thing you want to do when running a business is make profit, right? Now, when I bought the business, it wasn't profitable. But in a year where I haven't really been able to focus on it solely because of the exit of my other business and obviously doing all the other things to build the brand back up, we have managed to make a small profit. And that, to be honest, hasn't been any huge changes. By focusing on these little things like improving your average order value, improving your conversion rate, which still isn't anywhere near where it needs to be, improving the retention rate, reducing your cost of goods, or like I said, adding accessories that are really high margin into each order, we've been able to 3-4x the gross profit, which has made a massive difference to the business's bottom line. So yeah, by focusing on these small tweaks that you can make, like even without a huge amount of effort, you can make a huge transformation on your business. That's why the double your profit in 90 days cheat sheet is so valuable, because by focusing on moving the needle on 5 things just by 10, 15, 20%, you can transform your business without a huge amount of effort. If you want that cheat sheet, I'll put the link in the description. Definitely go and download that and see what it can do for your business. This definitely hasn't been all plain sailing. Some mistakes along the way that I've made, essentially getting too excited and ordering way too many colorways on the first order. We've still got some of that stock, especially in women's. I think the brand was very much everything that was available in menswear needed to be available in women's as well. And like the sales just aren't there. I think 5 to 10% of women buy from the store now. It's something that I really want to build on and try and get more women into cycling. But by just ordering loads of stock, it's still sat there. It's not shifting. That has a massive impact on cash flow, how much I can then reorder. So definitely need to solve that problem. And unfortunately, we've had to not order as much for the spring summer collection this year, which is something that I really didn't want to do, but just physically had to from a cash flow perspective. I definitely needed to focus more on that, which I've now got a lot more time freed up to do that. So a lot more things in the pipeline this year, marketing activity wise, and getting the contracts like Garmin and Kane Media are going to be really good building blocks for this year. And yeah, I think whilst running ad campaigns to test messaging, I think I did that at the wrong time. I think I did that just after summer had finished. So nobody's really going to be buying kit at that time. Definitely should have ran that earlier. Given probably too much kit away to like ambassadors. So then obviously can't sell it to customers, and probably haven't just immersed myself enough in the community and getting feedback from actual customers, speaking to them directly. It took me too long to set up a community ride. And now that's going. I'm really excited about it. It's really good to see people and they're engaging with the brand. And when they're trying it on, they're absolutely loving the product. So definitely need to do more of that in the future. So final thoughts. If you own an e-commerce brand, definitely focus on these 5 things: average order value, conversion rate, retention, cost of goods, and then focus on traffic. There is no point in sending loads of traffic to a store that isn't converting very well. It's like pouring water into a sieve. If you want to know what to do, download the cheat sheet. I've used it in 2 businesses, one that scaled to over 6 million with huge profitability, and this one with very little effort, and I've doubled the revenue and more than 3x the profit.